Let's talk about AI for tax prep. What do I think about using AI for tax prep? What do I think specifically about Juno when it comes to using AI for tax prep? Who should avoid using AI for tax prep? Who should start right away using AI for tax prep? And do I plan on using Juno or other AI for tax prep for the upcoming 2026 tax season? Let's get into this. But first, how did we actually get here? That's kind of a long story, but let me give you the Cliff Notes. I've been running my practice for 6 years, and in middle of 2024, I started engaging a little bit more on LinkedIn. Towards the end of 2024, I found that most of the people engaging with me and following me and messaging me were other accountants. I was sharing about kind of what was working for me, kind of what my journey was up to this point, like so many others on LinkedIn have been doing lately, and just kind of found that there were a lot of people wanting to hear more about that. So there's kind of this new part-time side income stream for me in coaching other tax firm owners. Basically just sharing what I've done, what's working for me, sharing ideas, bringing community together. It's not, hey, here I am with all the answers. It's more, let's talk about this and discuss. So that's what I've been doing. And so I've been staying engaged on LinkedIn, and I posted 2 posts recently within the last month or two on LinkedIn about using AI for tax prep, and they got a lot of engagement for me. And the first one was kind of a review. It wasn't really a review because I didn't mention what software that I used, but I had partially demoed. I had demoed 2 different tax prep type of software that are using AI, and I really wasn't a fan of either of them. I posted that. The first one, got 26,000 impressions, 111 likes or whatever, and about 30 to 40 comments. The second one was, maybe a hot take where I said, hey, look, don't use AI, but go hire interns. Go hire human beings. Give them a chance to learn and to grow. And, oh, by the way, it actually is more cost effective than using the AI options that are out there right now. This is a better route to go. That's what I said in that post. That post got about 52,000 views or impressions or whatever you want to call that, and about 40 comments again and 140 to 150 likes. So from that, I had Dave, who is a founder and I think CEO of Juno, kind of message me and say, hey, have you checked out Juno? You should try us out. Jack, also, who is head of AI and co-founder over at Juno, messaged me and said, hey, have you checked out Juno? Would love to hear your thoughts on it. I messaged them a little bit back and forth. Actually met with Jack, again, head of AI at Juno yesterday, Monday, August 11th. Today is Tuesday, August 12th. Met with Jack yesterday, had a great conversation with him, really like him, and really gave me more of an optimistic outlook for Juno simply from meeting with him. And I would guarantee that if I met with people from other companies, that would actually be a similar thing. I don't know for sure. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, I don't think so. Like, I have less trust in this person than I did before I knew who they were. But when it comes to Jack, when it comes to Juno, I loved meeting with him. I'll kind of share a little bit more about what I talked to him about and kind of why I was impressed by him and with Juno in that. But from there, let's go to just kind of my general thoughts. What do I think about AI for tax prep? My overall perspective is still that this is not a game changer. It is not a dramatic, have to jump on this, have to do it right now, game changer. It just isn't yet. I think it might get there. Again, from talking to Jack, there's some promising things, but it's not there yet. It is not a game changer for me. To me, it's still OCR technology that we've had for a decade, a little bit better with promise of being a lot better. That's where I think we are right now. You still have to know the subject matter. You can't be brand new with no experience thinking that you're going to supplement your inexperience with AI and be able to use something like Juno or any other one that's out there. I haven't tested a bunch of these. I've really only looked at 2. and I have not done deep dive, extensive tests on these, but it's not something where it's like, hey, I've got a little bit of knowledge. Let me supplement that with the AI and go out on my own sooner than I otherwise would have. You need to be good at what you do. I think this is a given. I don't think there's too many people out there who are thinking this, but I just want to state it. Don't use this to supplement the fact that you're inexperienced. You have to know what you're doing. You have to double check the AI. It's not getting everything right. It's not giving you all the correct information. You still need to be able to look at the tax forms and make sure that the return is prepared correctly. Anybody from any of these companies are, I hope, going to tell you that, and I think that they are going to tell you that. So you have to know the subject matter. It's better at strategy than it is at preparing returns. So if you're looking at, hey, I really want to use AI to prep my returns and or also help with strategy, it's better, I think, at the strategy piece. And the reason for this is the AI can read the tax forms, and it might miss some things just like OCR technology did. It might get a few things wrong, but it's pretty good at reading the tax information. It can pull and extract that information. I think Jack said this. I'm pretty sure he confirmed this. It's a lot harder to get it to take that information and enter it into the tax return than it is to get it to take that information and analyze it. So the preparation of a tax return is actually a lot harder than the strategy piece when it comes to not having human involvement. Having human involvement, you can your brain, okay, if you want to do some deep analysis, AI is going to do that stuff super quick and your brain can't keep up. But if you're talking about, here's some Schedule C information, the client has 2 Schedule Cs, husband and wife, I know this is the husband's, or here's a mortgage statement, the property is here, that's a rental, not Schedule A. Your brain, because you know the client, you know the information, your brain's going to process that way faster. AI is not going to be able to do that. It's not going to know, and you're still going to have to tell AI what it was. Hey, this was for the rental property, not Schedule A. So there are things that you're going to be better at as a human. The prep side of this, again, I'm not someone who codes. I don't do RPA, robotic process automation. I don't do any of that. But to get the information that AI extracted into the software is the hardest piece. And again, I'm going to send this to Jack. Jack, if you actually watch this and I'm misrepresent anything in this whole video, just shoot me a message, tell me everything I misrepresented, and I will do a complete retraction video on anything that I said that was incorrectly. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think that Jack did confirm that getting that information into the software is the hardest piece. So not a game changer yet. I think that we're moving in that direction. OCR, but a little bit better. It's not doing what I really hope AI would do, and frankly, what AI should do. It's mostly handling, from the 2 that I looked at, it's mostly handling the tax forms from the IRS. So this is going to get into Juno specifically, so we'll start to move into that too. Like, what do I think about Juno specifically? At this point, it's really only handling IRS tax forms. W-2s, consolidated 1099s, 1099 interest, 1099-R, K-1s, brokerage statements. I think I already said that. But it's really only handling the types of forms that OCR could handle. Now, it can get the information, right? It can get names, birth dates, socials from an organizer. It can get charitable contributions from a sheet of paper that someone wrote totals on, or from an Excel file, or from multiple receipts that it sees are charitable donations and adds those all up together. AI can do that. It's not doing it in these tax prep softwares yet, it doesn't seem. And again, in talking with Jack about this, that's on the near horizon. In fact, again, I'm pretty sure he said that was coming, and he thinks that'll be ready by this tax season, 2026 tax season. So that's what I want. I want it to be able to take that information. I don't want a glorified OCR. We've had OCR for a decade, and I haven't been using it because It just didn't seem worth it, honestly. Now, there are firms out there using it, and it's really affecting their practice, and they are a great case study for it. I'm not a good case study for OCR because this Juno is kind of that, but a little bit better. It's making it where it's close to being a good case study for me, but I don't think it's quite there yet. Again, I have not done extensive testing. I've done about 5 to 6 returns using Juno and like 1 or 2 using a different software. I haven't really tested other apps. There's a couple of other ones out there. I haven't really tested a bunch of them. Really only kind of looked at this one at this point. I think they all pretty much are working similar. The AI piece isn't necessary. I mean, that needs some work too, but it's the getting the information into your software that I think is the hardest piece for all of these folks. Juno has a human in the loop kind of process where you upload your documents to Juno. It processes them, it extracts the information, and it gives it to you, and you need to review it. When I was meeting with their sales rep, that made a lot of sense to me. I was like, yes, that makes sense. When I actually tested it out, I was like, no, I don't like this. And I'll tell you, and I told Jack this too. The reason why I didn't like it was I don't care how good your software is. Let's say Juno, because that's what we're talking about right now. I don't care how great Juno is. I don't care if I do 200 returns and it gets every single number correct. 1, that's not going to happen. 2, even if it did, I'm going to verify that the information is in my software correctly. My tax prep software, UltraTax is what I use. So I'm going to make sure that it's in UltraTax correctly, and I'm going to tick mark all the numbers that are important to me in UltraTax. So if you make me review that information in Juno, you're duplicating it and you're actually slowing me down instead of saving me time. Because if I have to upload that information, verify it in Juno, and then push it into the software, well, in theory, you verify it in Juno, so it's pushed into the software accurately. But 1, maybe that process of pushing it into the software didn't work quite right, and there was an error, so I'm going to double check it for that reason. And 2, I'm going to tick mark it in my software, because if the numbers change in my software, if a staff member opens it up, or if something just gets updated, the software gets updated, if something changes, if I tick mark it in my software, it will notify me that one of those numbers changed after I put a tick mark on it. So even if it's 100% accurate 100% of the time, I'm going to tick mark these things in my software in case they change so that I get notified. So I don't want to have to do that twice. Now, Jack said, hey, sounds like we could make that an option. Do you want to verify it in Juno or not? And you could bypass that stage. That would be great. You actually already kind of can bypass it, because it's going to ask you to verify that. And I tested it this morning. I can just click verify whether I verified or not. And I can quickly move past the verification stage and push it into the software and then double check it there. So I can already do that. But that's what I plan on doing. It's kind of what I would recommend doing if you want my opinion on it. They also have a reviewer product. So once the return is done, you can upload the return. It's got the source documents. You can give it a tax organizer, and it can review what was done to those documents. I think that's great for newer staff or less experienced preparers. For me, I feel like it slowed me down a little bit, because it's giving you a lot of good information. But I was reading the information, which was slowing me down, whereas my review process, I've been doing it for many years. I kind of already am efficient at it. I can do it pretty quickly. And this felt like something that slowed me down. Now, maybe it would just take a little bit of getting used to, right? To where it would be the same or a little bit faster. For newer staff, I think it would be great at training them on how to review a return, because it's going to give them questions that they should be thinking through, and it's going to help them think through some things that they may have otherwise not thought to think through. So I think that it's good in that sense. I think that it has a lot of promise too. It could help you double check things. Like, I mean, if you just do your own review process and then throw it in there and then just look at what it flagged, hey, maybe you missed something in your process. So kind of as a redundant check, I think it'd be great. I think it's got a lot of promise there too. Again, comparing answers to the organizer to what was in the return. Hey, organizer said they had charitable contributions, didn't see any on the tax return. Okay, that's something that I do when I'm going through my organizer, and I've got my organizer set up in a way where I can just skim it real quick. Again, it took a little bit longer for me to actually look at what Juno's reviewer was telling me than it did to just skim through my own organizer. But again, it had big red like, hey, check this. And I could miss something when skimming things. So again, it's there. I think that there's going to be a lot of people who like it, and it's going to be beneficial, especially for the more inexperienced, the newer training staff, stuff like that. The advisor piece, right now, all of this is kind of bundled in together with one price, and it's a good price, I think. I think the price is pretty good. The advisor piece, I think, I was told, was free for a year, and then it's $99 a month. So for advisor, it's AI that's helping you answer questions about your specific client. You can upload a tax return. You can ask it for planning, for strategy. It'll give you that. It'll let you kind of put it together in a presentation for the client. At $99 a month, I think it's probably your best option other than like ChatGPT. Now, don't go stick client tax returns in ChatGPT if you're on anything other than Teams. Look at Jason Statt's review of ChatGPT. The Teams version gives you more privacy, but this is more dedicated. Again, it's a better price for advisor than I think what else is out there. It may not do everything that the other ones do, but this is really just idea generation. Again, do not just throw the tax return in there and send what it gives you to the client. You need to know, does that strategy make sense for this client? Is that strategy actually right? Is it messing something up a little bit? You've got to be knowledgeable in what you're doing, but it can help. Oh, I didn't think about that for this particular client. Or, oh, that's a good idea. Let me double check it, make sure it's right. So I think its price point, again, is right, and it's better than some other options that are out there. So for Juno, I think that they're moving in the right direction. What I'll say here too, specific to them, because I did get to meet with Jack. Again, Dave messaged me on LinkedIn when I posted some of this stuff. I'm not a Jason Stats. I'm not a Logan Graf. I don't have tens of thousands of followers. If Jason and Logan say you should do this, and I say you should not do this, they're going to have 20,000 people listening to them, and I'm going to have 15 people listening to me, right? So the fact that they messaged me and reached out to me, I'm not an influencer. I mean, my opinion is influencing people the same way as anyone else who's posting on LinkedIn. Your opinion is influencing some people too. It's not a huge following or anything like that. So the fact that they messaged me, the fact that they wanted to know more, tells me a lot about what they care about, that they do care, and that they want their product to be the best product it can be. Look, they've got a product and they've got a sales message that is going to make them profitable, right? The product is good. The sales message is good. There's people who want this. They're going to be profitable. They could ignore what I said and they're going to do just fine. But they reached out and said, hey, Jack specifically in the call, because I was able to talk to him face to face, was like, look, tell me everything. He wasn't trying to convince me that I was wrong. He wasn't trying to convince me that I should continue to use it. He wasn't trying to convince me, give us 6 months and we'll make you a believer. He said, tell me what you don't like. Here's what I'm working on. Okay, we know that. Like I was like, oh, here's, it won't do this. I know it won't do that right now. I'm hoping it will by this point. He was very frank and, knows here's what the limitations are. Here's the ones that we think we can address by tax season. Here's the ones that are going to be a little bit longer term than that. Here are the things that we're doing really well. And, again, tell me, he was mostly asking questions. He wasn't trying to convince me of anything. And so that to me makes me super optimistic about Juno, because they are listening to people. They're learning. They care about what they're putting out there. They're not just trying to put out the lowest the minimum viable product, right? Like, okay, they get that out there, they get some testing done, right? But they're not just saying like, hey, we've got something that's good enough, it's going to make us a bunch of money, let's not worry about it. They're saying, we want more, we want to help people. Dave also runs his own CPA firm, so he's using it in a CPA firm. Having someone who's actually doing the work at the head of this makes a lot of sense. And so, yeah, I just super impressed again. I'll say it one more time. Super impressed with Jack, his heart, his motivations that I seem to be getting from the the phone call, the video call that we had, the questions that he asked, just to me felt genuine and felt like he wanted to improve his product that he's co-founder of. It had nothing to do with trying to convince me or trying to get me to put out a different opinion. So that makes me super optimistic about Juno, makes me want to continue to test it, makes me want the best for their company to continue to improve and be a great product, and a lot of people use it. I'll say here too, also real quick, I don't do sponsored videos. I've never taken money from anyone other than a client who has paid me to do strategy or tax prep or bookkeeping or something like that, right? I get money from clients. I haven't done a sponsored video. No one has sent me anything. I made a post about TaxStone one time, and they sent me like a little care package with a little figurine and some stickers in it. But they didn't send that to me until after I had already said what I said. I don't get anything for free from any software company that other people don't get. Like, okay, I get QuickBooks Online for free because I'm an accountant. But I don't take revenue share. I don't promote things that I get kickbacks on. I don't take money to do video reviews. I've never done that. Not doing that for this video. Dave, Jack, nobody said review us. It was just I had the meeting and I was sharing it with the handful of people that happened to listen to me. The only thing that they did do was, and they did this before I even met with them. When I posted that post, they kind of messaged me and was like, "Hey, look, we're going to extend your trial. Just keep playing with it. Just keep trying it out." And so they've extended my trial, so I haven't paid for any of the returns that I've put through it. But that's the only thing that they did. I didn't ask for it. They said, "Hey, we'll extend your trial. We got some updates coming out. Keep playing with it." And so that's the only thing. Again, the video's not sponsored or anything for this or anything else that I talk about. All right, who should avoid using AI for tax prep right now? If you're not an early adopter, don't start using AI for tax prep. It's not there yet. This is for early adopters. This is for beta testers. If you turn on beta testing on your iPhone and you get the earliest iOS before it goes public, if you turn on beta testing for TaxDome and you get features before they're rolled out to everyone, then, we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you're not that person, if you're like, I want them to work the kinks out, I want the finalized kind of ready for the public version, I don't want to be a beta tester, you should not be using AI. AI is for beta testers right now, I believe. So if you're not an early adopter, I don't think you should do that. If you have expectations that this is going to just dramatically change everything that you're doing, you shouldn't be using it because you're going to be wildly disappointed, I think. It's not there yet. I don't think that the people who are putting this out there would say that it is there yet. I think that they have great expectations and great hopes and high optimism for where it's going to go, but I don't think that many of them would say it's there yet. It's not dramatically different than what we've had. So if you have these, this is going to revolutionize my practice for the 2026 tax season, I don't think you should use it for that reason, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to be disappointed. If you want it to do what you expect AI to do, it's not there yet. I don't think you should use it for that reason. It's pulling the information, but it can't put it into the software yet. That's the hardest piece. So it can get, like I said, names, birth dates, addresses. It can look at charitable contributions, but it can't put that on the tax return yet. It can really mostly only do IRS tax forms. So if you want it to do what you kind of expect AI to do, it's really not there yet. It's got the information, and they're going to figure this out. They're going to get it into the tax software soon, I think. But it's not ready for you yet if that's what you want it to do. So let's get to who absolutely should start using this right away. All right. If you were a great case study for OCR technology, I think you should switch over to Juno. I think that you're going to see that it's better than the OCR. The turnaround is a ton quicker. So I used Gruntworks 2020, 2021, and you had to upload to them. It had to process. I was using the human validated one. I'd get it back within 24 to 48 hours. If it was the middle of tax season, sometimes it would take 4 or 5 days because they were backed up. But if you were using kind of the OCR technology in your firm, and that was helping you, you should switch to something like Juno. And I like Juno. I like the way it worked. I like the way that it went. So I upload the documents. It processes them. I can either review them or, like I said, just skip the review and push it into my software. For UltraTax, you have to have the screen open. It inputs the information faster than I could key it in. A couple of minutes for, multiple tax documents. So, if you pick up 10 to 20 minutes for every tax return, over 2 to 500, or maybe you're doing 1,000 tax returns, I don't know. That adds up. That's going to save you a bunch of time. It's going to help you be more efficient, and you're going to free up some of your time. So if that's who you are, I think you should definitely switch to something like this. Then you also get that reviewer piece added in and the advisor piece added in too for at least the first year, if I'm remembering that correctly. So absolutely start using this. If that was a good case study for you and you were a good candidate for that, do this. If you're a solo firm who's not willing to offshore and you can't find interns, you should definitely use this. It's going to free up some of your time because, again, it can enter that information on the tax forms faster than you can. It can process them and it can enter them in the amount of time that it would have taken you to enter them. So I think that that's going to be helpful for you. I think you should use it if you're a solo firm. Now, if you can offshore and you can find quality help, or you can get an intern to do data entry. Again, data entry, you don't really need to know if it's right or if the tax return is right. And that's all this is going to do for you at this point is that data entry. So if you can find an intern, 15 to 25 bucks an hour, if you can offshore for, I don't know what those rates are, but if you can go to the Philippines or India and you can find people who are qualified, and you're willing to do that, then I think that from a cost perspective, that makes more sense. Now, can you scale this more, right? Okay, there's no limit to what AI can do. You can feed it 5,000 tax returns, but you can't feed one offshore person 5,000 tax returns. But there's enough people qualified and willing in the Philippines and India and other places that you can find enough people to just hire more people. And so I don't think that the cost is there yet. I think Juno's close. At 30 bucks a return for what they give you, Juno is in the right spot. 50, 60, 80 plus, I can't make a case for that cost. I can't make a case for any firm in my head. Now, there's probably one, and if you can make a case for that, leave that for me in the comments. But I can't imagine a situation where it makes sense to pay $80. If you think about this, let's say you're offshoring, or even you find an intern at 20 bucks an hour, maybe 25 bucks an hour. If you're talking $80, that's 3 to 4 hours worth of time at $20 to $25 an hour. It's not, the cost isn't there for that. Now, again, at 30 bucks, okay. If you can offshore, I don't know what the price is, but let's say you can offshore for 15 bucks an hour. That's 2 hours for 30 bucks. You could hire 10 people offshore to do 10 returns in an hour or in 20 minutes or whatever, right? So I don't think the cost is there yet. I think Juno is the closest. I do like their price point. I think that they could come out with maybe a little bit of I hate the variable pricing because you don't know what you're getting into. It's hard to calculate. So I'd like that they have, hey, it's just 30 bucks. No matter what, it's 30 bucks. I think maybe they can have a couple of tiers, like, hey, up to this, it's 15, and then up to here, it's 30. So I think that could be possible too to help increase the amount of uses on even the simpler returns with less documents. Just an idea there. But yeah, I think that, if you can't do that and it's just you solo, you don't want to hire, you don't want to contract out, you don't want to offshore, you don't want to find an intern, then absolutely, this is your way to go. At 30 bucks a return, it makes a lot of sense. And so I think that is who should use it. You will pick up some efficiency. You're going to across multiple clients. Again, you're not going to save like an hour on a single client, but if you can save 15 minutes on 100 clients, that's 1,500 minutes. That's a lot of time that you're going to get back. Now, the other thing here, this is a personal thing. I would say don't do this to just replace it with more work. My goal, I do about 400 returns. My goal is not to use something like Juno to get to 800 returns. I don't want to cut my prep time in half so that I can do double the amount of returns. I want to cut my prep time in half so that I can spend more time talking to my clients, spend more time with my family, spend tax season working 35 hours a week instead of 45 hours a week. I'm not someone who's in the 60, 70 hour a week. Tax season is not miserable for me. I work 50 to 55 hours during March, and the rest of the time it's pretty much 40 hours a week. Outside tax season, it's less than 40 hours a week. This isn't, I'm not kind of in that space. But technology promised us to give us kind of our humanness back, our humanity, our time. But what did we do when we got email and we got AI and we got robotic process automation? We didn't do the same work faster and kind of return to being human. We continued to work at an inhuman pace. We filled the free time with more work to increase the bottom line, make more money. We cared about that. And, don't do that. My recommendation is don't do that. Now, again, you go do whatever you want, but that's not my goal for this. My goal for this is to free me up, not even just to do more high-level strategy work, higher value work to make better hourly rate. That's not my goal. My goal is to find efficiency to do what I'm currently doing in a more efficient way so that I can spend more time with my clients. I want to give my clients peace of mind, and the more face-to-face time they get with me, the more they hear me kind of talk through their stuff and help them understand it and tell them like this is good, this is what we want to do, the more peace of mind they get. I want to serve them. I don't want to just add another 400 returns because I cut my time in half. All right, so I wouldn't recommend you use it for that. If you've got tax returns with lots of IRS tax forms, bunch of broker statements, bunch of W-2s, 1099s, K-1s, whatever, it's going to save you. The more IRS tax documents you have, the more time it's going to save you. Now, I also do think that so let's go into, do I plan on using it? I do. Mostly to continue testing it. But then secondly, because in talking with Jack, I think that some of the things that I really am hoping it can do and will do are promising for this coming tax season. So they're not quite there yet, but they're promising. Schedule A, charitable contributions, property taxes. It'll already do mortgage interest, but if it can add the rest of Schedule A and fill that out, that's great. Schedule C and Schedule E, if it can be more efficient at those, it's not good at Schedule E. It's going to create a new Schedule E. And to me, if it's going to create a new Schedule E, there's going to be more work for me that this is causing versus if it would match up and put it on the current Schedule E. That's coming, it sounded like. Even if it's like a prompt of like, hey, which Schedule E is this? That'll change that significantly. And then Schedule C, it kind of will already match, but also I think there should still be a prompt there to confirm that it's the right Schedule C, because a client could have multiple Schedule Cs without different EINs. It's better to confirm that. So Schedule C, Schedule E, Schedule A, those things, and then if it can even add in like the general information. Now, I don't know if it'll ever happen for UltraTax for me for that, because the way that they're entering the data, I don't even think you can enter in general information that way, like name, address, socials, birth dates, kids, dependents. I don't think it can do that through that data entry screen, so I don't think that's coming. But those are kind of the things that I'm hoping for. If it can do a little bit more of the tax return, a little bit more than just the IRS forms, then I'm going to be using it more. I'm already going to roll it out on some clients. I can pick and choose which clients I want, right? And just pay for the clients that I push in there. Also, it's going to integrate with TaxDome. That's coming very soon, where I use TaxDome, and I can just say, okay, this is a client I want to use it for. Click the button, push it there, push it into UltraTax, and in a couple of minutes, those tax forms are entered into UltraTax. I think that works really well, and that's a great case study for it. It did get some of the W-2 information wrong on one of the ones that I tested. I got a lot of the information right on the ones that I tested, but it did mess one up. So again, you're going to have to double check that. You're going to spend some time correcting a little bit of information. But overall, I think that it will pick up some efficiencies that on a client-by-client basis isn't really a game changer. But if I put 100 through it or 200 through it, times 10 minutes each, it's going to help. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now, with the hope and expectation that it's going to keep getting better. Again, especially after talking to Jack and seeing kind of how he and Dave care about the company. That's only going to make it better and better. The way that he's taken feedback, the way that he wants to hear people who are skeptical of this, who don't like it, his openness to hear that, to not be offended by anything that I shared with him, that's only going to mean good things for what Juno does in the future. And so that's my thought on it. If you have comments, if you have questions, leave those for me. Hopefully this was fair. I'm going to say it again. Jack, if I said anything that misrepresented Juno or what you said to me, please put it in the comments, shoot me an email. I'll do a retraction video as fast as possible as I can if I misrepresented or said anything incorrectly. And for, the 30 of you that watch this video, those are my thoughts, and I appreciate you watching.